No pain, no gain. No pain, and know about gain. I've went through a massive transition in my life. My journey of healing, self-discovery, and recovery has been an incredibly painful one at times. Now, whether that's physically, emotionally, or mentally, it's uh, it's it's had its many ups and downs. Now, I've just posted a video on my social channels about breathwork for pain management, and pain perception, because that's two different things. We can feel pain, but also our perception of pain can actually exacerbate the symptoms, and it can also lower, depending on the type of person we are, depending on our past, our history, our body types, how we breathe. Because we're in pain, as I mentioned in that video, if you think when you stub your toe, or your finger, there's this short, shallow breathing. It's trying to get as much air into our body. There's the sensation of pain, and what it does, it sparks the sympathetic nervous system. Breathing up into the chest, and getting oxygen into the body. Kind of gets you high for a little bit, but it helps with pain management. And as the body self-regulates, the pain lessens. Now that's come about partly through breathing. Yes, pain does pass, but it's through our, I guess, innate wisdom or intuition, or just our body knows best. Our body is way smarter than this, way smarter than our minds. Our minds are polluted with so much different information. Even what I'm giving you now, you could say. But this is important information, I believe anyway, is to get out of our mind and into the body and listen to what our body is telling us, what it is saying. And our body, it's a system that operates in a way that it tries to protect us, it tries to conserve energy so that we can be as optimal and functional as possible. But in this modern world and in this day and age, there's so much stimulus out here, on phones, computers, screen apnea. That I can bypass some of my inner systems, and that happened to me in the work that I was doing in the past, how I looked after myself or didn't look after myself. So when I got into breathwork and discovered that the healing properties within that, but also how I could manage pain perception, overall health and well-being, and performance, whether that was at work, at home, in my relationships, wherever, this positive tool that I could use. So in the video that I just posted on my socials, I give 3 examples. Stubbing a toe, a simple one, and that self-regulation process happens. If it's a much more painful injury, same process, but just more extended, more pronounced, more because there's more pain, so there's more management needed. Now, the last example I used was in childbirth. So, something I have not experienced, don't claim to have experienced. There's people in my life, friends, etc., that have experienced that and have said to me what it was like. So I've got some friends who have done some home births for pain management. Sorry, they've done some home births to have their child and used simple breath work to birth their child at home in water. Beautiful process. I saw it. It was just incredible, so natural. And her bodily systems were in their natural state. There was no pain medication used. Now, the thing about pain medication, when used in the birthing process or in certain physical or mental, emotional states, it's actually preventing us from experiencing what we're meant to experience and heal in the way we're meant to heal. I'm not saying that is for pain medication across the board. There's times obviously when pain medication is required, so I just want to lay that out before I get heaps of comments about it. But in that birthing process, my friend, this woman, and the father or partner were able to birth this child together, and they supported one another through love and through breath work. Beautiful process, absolutely beautiful. Now, if medication had been used, and if you're a woman watching this, or even a husband, a father, when heavily medicated, what happens is it numbs our body. It actually numbs our body. Yes, still experiencing pain, but it's like pushing through the pain, literally. In the case of birth, push, push, push. So what you're doing is, the pain is somewhat lessened, so you're pushing harder. It's how women can actually experience problems during birth or tearing, or because it's not naturally done. It's not a slow pushing process, pushing through the pain rather than medicating through the pain. So these are examples that I use just to highlight the importance of breath work and the power of it, how we can use it to pain manage. Now, when it comes to physical pain, like I've mentioned, it can be done slowing down the breath, focusing the pain. We don't want to shut the pain out. That's what medications try to do. It wants to slap a plaster on, but if we can actually experience the pain, as painful as it is, it can actually start to lessen. We can use breath work, and our perception of that pain and how we manage it changes, and it becomes easier. I'm not saying easy, but it becomes easier. In emotional regulation, it's something completely different. The pain that we experience can be through the retelling or the refeeling of certain events in our lives. Rather, an event from our childhood or in our teens or even as an adult. What happens is we have this event, I'm going to call it, this painful, whether it's the breakup of a relationship, the loss of a parent, or money problems, something, there's this emotion that wants to be released. And depending on who you are, or how your life is, I know myself, I've been too busy, or I wanted to avoid that feeling, or, and it gets pushed down, suppressed, repressed feelings. And what happens is, mentally, because this is being shoved down, this weight is being pushed into us, mentally, we become depressed. There's a depression pushing down a weight that we're carrying. Now, if you go to medical health professional, GP, there's a good chance you're going to be prescribed antidepressants, anti-anxiety tablets, or more. And that's personal experience. I'm not judging. This is personal experience, and if I am judging, I'm judging my own experience, in a way that I understand. So these emotions that we have are natural emotions. It's natural to grieve. It's natural to feel heavy and depressed. But if we're not processing them and allowing them to pass in time, then they stay with us. So then the next time an event happens or something happens, it triggers, it sets off that feeling for release again. But then it becomes overwhelming. Oh, I know what this is, and I'm scared of this. I need to push it down again, or I need to medicate it away, or self-medicate it away with whatever people do. I know the things that I used to do to self-medicate. But there's no healing process there. The pain remains within. It gets stored in the body. So by using specific breathwork tools, what we can do is we can change how we function. We can release certain emotions, or even better, in the present, experience them as they're happening, where it feels safe. Recently I was at a funeral, and I was able to let go and release and feel the grief, feel the sadness, and feel the loss. In the past, I've just pushed that down, and it stayed. So then when something else comes up, then it becomes heavier and heavier. So we can use the breath to pain manage physically, emotionally, and mentally as well. The mental pain, the mental torture of living, of existence, at times can be really difficult. Say, for example, the event that I just spoke of happens, we attach a story to that event. And usually that story is our story, our version, our perspective, our perception of things. And yes, it's real to us, but what usually happens is it becomes either an exaggerated form, or we minimize. So where is the truth in that? Where is the truth? And it's what we do as human beings to try and manage, to try and regulate, to try and support ourselves, to try and get through life, because I can't deal with this just now. I've got to work. I can't, cope with this. I've got other responsibilities, kids, money worries, and it just piles on, and this kind of avoidance mentality, or this where we're, not supposed to, because we've got other things to do. And that's what I mean by the modern world and this busyness of life. So we retell stories. We retell stories. And to retell, we re-feel. And re-feeling, where resentment comes from. Resentment is Latin for sentorial. Something like that. It means to feel. So we re-feel. Resentment is to re-feel. So when I rethink, I can experience something that happened in the past. It doesn't even have to be in the present. I just become overwhelmed. It reminds me, I'm thinking about it. But what we can do is learn how to breathe better, be better, it's up there, to help us process things as they happen. And yes, sometimes the grieving process takes time, but we don't need to turn to other pain management tools to try and cope. Because really it's avoidance, it's pushing things down. And again, I'm not judging, I did it for years to try and manage myself that way. I now try much more healthier coping mechanisms, coping strategies to get through life. And I feel better for it. That's what's good. And I teach other people as well. I lead by example. I support people and clients on how best to navigate our way through the challenges, the difficulties of life, relationships, and work, and how we can use breath work and movement, nervous system regulation as a tool to support us, not to avoid. It's not just another avoidance tool. It's to actually experience things in the moment, or process things and allow the process to happen naturally, instead of substance abuse, using drugs or sex or gambling or shopping or eating or whatever avoidance tools that we all have that can be used to take us away from ourselves and our healing process. So that's today's video. If you've stayed this long, thank you. Hit me up in the comments if you have any questions. The sun's shining today. I just thought I'll record anyway, even though it doesn't look that good. Hopefully you've tuned in and just listened as well. And if you have any questions, please just ask or follow any of my links. Book in for a discovery call. Breathe better. It's up there. Be better.